Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Techbit Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday, September 22nd. I wanted to go live very quickly and just quickly talk about the series of different companies that maybe to pay attention to this week. I normally allow you guys to select the 5. In this live stream, I'm going to be selecting at least 3 of them, and 2 are based due to earnings of what's to come. If you want me to break down your stock, this video and this live stream is going to be super short and sweet. All I literally ask you to do is to subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up, and then share your number 1 stock in the live chat. And yes, you do have to be subscribed. If you want to tune on into my live trading session tomorrow, I have a special discounted link for you. It's $175 off. And again, prices will be going up in October, so the cheapest times to sign up is definitely with that link, and that's that second link in the description down below. Without further ado, can you guys, just want to make sure, can you guys hear me and see me okay? So once I get the thumbs up on that, I will jump right into it and go from there. So we got Ermin here, Ermin Khan. I love that. I saw your comment over the weekend. That is too good. Ermin Khan was a guy that I think his boyfriend broke up with him because he lost money trading options. As many of you guys know, I personally do not trade options, but like any troll likes to use someone else as a scapegoat. You have someone like Ermin. I don't know if any of you guys recognize him. Probably not. The really funny thing about it is that he started his own YouTube channel and tried to make stock market videos, failed, and then gets upset when he doesn't get any attention, and the only time anyone pays attention to him is when he talks about someone else. But I think that's the really funny part about that. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first stock that I want to quickly break down is FDX. FDX reported earnings last week, and as you guys could see, it went from $305 per share all the way down to $253. So it sold off about 15%. The thing that I love about companies that become very oversold is not that they have to recover, and this is why I worded this video very specifically. It's 5 stocks to watch. I want to pay attention to see if FedEx continues to sell off or if FedEx actually begins to show signs of a recovery. If we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, you could see, the day time frame, you could see that it has an ascending support, but it doesn't just recover right away. It consolidates for some time, and then it recovers, and then it recovers, and then it begins to recover. So we cannot expect FedEx to just naturally begin to recover within a very short period of time, which is why I think it's super important to not be afraid to add it to your watch list, but also not to feel forced that you need to buy it right now, because the cheap can always get cheaper. But I wanted to make sure that I talked about it, and that is FedEx after reporting worse than expected earnings, but also its guidance was lower than what was expected. So please make sure you take that into consideration. The other company you might want to be paying attention to this week is Costco. Costco is going to be reporting earnings this week, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it actually performs. Costco, many of you guys might not know this, but it's a very well-performing stock. Over a long period of time, it's incredibly bullish. So again, like, it is so much easier to make money when direction is in your favor, and there is no question that Costco has been aggressively bullish. So we'll see after reporting earnings, does it see an uptick? And what I'm hoping for is a pullback, not because I want to short it, but because I would love to buy some Costco at a cheaper price and then make money as it recovers, right? I want to buy when everyone else is selling, and again, sell when everyone else tends to buy. So I'll make sure that I follow up with that. So I love that. So if he's a millionaire and profitable trader, why is he selling a course? I love that video, and unlike an interview, I can share my answer and it doesn't get chopped off, right? So why would anyone sell anything? Of course, to make money, right? Because if I have and do something that other people want to watch or pay attention to, I mean, Eamon, you're a good example. You're tuning in to my video because to some degree, you subscribe to my channel and you find me interesting enough to have subscribed and to pay attention. You value what it is that I have to say. And just like that, I mean, it's that simple. If you care what it is that I have to say, then great. I offer a service where you can watch me trade live. And guess what? If you don't, then just like for you, Imran, or whatever, however it is that you pronounce your name, you literally do not have to sign up. I wouldn't even know that you existed. And that's, I mean, the rest of the world is going to continue going how it's going. And that's really just it. I mean, there's nothing else to it. It's very simple. I wish you had something better to do with your time other than to tune on into my videos, to spiel hate when obviously you're just unhappy with the void that you are currently experiencing in your life. I'm sorry your boyfriend broke up with you. Better luck trading options next time. We don't trade them for a reason. And yeah, I mean, I think that's really what it comes down to. So I normally remove people like Imran, but you guys find him so funny, and I think his story is so hilarious that I just like keeping him here because he keeps yapping, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. After Costco, the one that I quickly want to bring up is Micron. Micron Technologies is also set to report earnings this week, and Micron was incredibly bullish, but it peaked at 157 and has recently pulled on back. As you guys can see, it kind of has this double bottom. I want to see if Micron finally begins to show signs of a recovery or if it continues to sell off. And I think that's the biggest thing is can we take advantage of an early reversal after it reports earnings, or is it going to continue to sell off after reporting earnings? And then at that case, I probably will just set an alert and let it continue to sell off, because buying the dip on something that continues to get cheaper is not something that I personally want to partake in. But definitely it's a stock that's in my watch list for this week, and it does report earnings, which again, for an absolute beginner, it's probably not the safest thing to do to openly carry a position on a stock that's about to report earnings, especially if you haven't traded it before. So Imran is a decayed option. All right, let's go ahead and break down your guys' top stock. So again, if you guys want me to break down your top stock, I make it super simple. Drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share your number one ticker in that live chat, and I would be more than happy to break it down for you. So all right. Perfect. We got INTC. We got GME. All right, and here we go. All right, Imran, it looks like you're just trying to promote your own channel because you couldn't grow it on your own, but don't worry. Again, one click away and poof. Imran, just like that, you're gone. Before this YouTube video, no one knew you existed. After this video, still no one knows that you existed. I love it, huh? The world continues to go round. Good luck getting your boyfriend back, brother. Hope it works out for you. All right, PLTR, I'm not mac and cheese for you. I like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. PLTR. Beautiful. PLTR, based off of recent patterns, incredibly bullish. And if I'm not mistaken, Palantir, I thought it was Peter Thiel's company, right? I'll have to double check, but it has been incredibly bullish. Obviously, I mean, you would just have to hope at this, like the way that I view this is the ship has pretty much sailed, right? There's no question about it. The ship has sailed, and it is, if you are already invested, it makes sense on why possibly you're still holding, because there is no break of pattern. It looks like this thing is forming higher highs and higher lows, and it could continue to rally. But the reason that I personally wouldn't want to partake in this is because of the risk to reward. It's just not my style of trading. I'm not here to say that it can't be yours. But if it does break above that resistance, and it does continue to rally, then great. There's some potential upside potential. The risk that I see with something like this is that if we get rejected, it has all of that downside risk. And in my opinion, it's just not worth it, right? If you look at the moving average, it always tends to pull on back to the moving average. And I'm personally someone that likes to focus on taking advantage of good deals. I just don't see Palantir to be a good deal at $37. Just because I don't see it to be a good deal doesn't mean that I have to short it, right? Because it's incredibly bullish. So direction is in favor of Palantir. It's just the risk to reward just wouldn't make sense now at $37 when it has a pullback potential to retrace back possibly to $20 to $27 per share, $24 to $27 based off of this ascending moving average. It is incredibly bullish. I have heard a lot of positive news about Palantir, but anything, just like we've seen in the past before, just like we've seen with Nvidia, once the hype fades, once the hype is no longer there, there's a correction that follows, and just as quick as it ran up, it quickly corrects itself on the way down as well. So let's see what's next. All right, let me go ahead and break down. I'll do two more stocks during this live stream breakdown. So if you can, two more stocks. Let's go ahead and break it down. Okay. What are we doing here? VCEL, let's check that one out very quickly. All right, I'm not the biggest fan of this one myself. Very low volume. It's kind of just consolidating based off of recent patterns. It's pretty simple to understand the low points and the high points. So being able to buy into the lows, sell into the highs if you're into that. The volume is just too low. There's not a great sense of direction. It was bullish, but it's not anymore since almost the beginning of this year. We rallied, but we've kind of just been consolidating. And normally, all of this consolidation could be a sign of a potential resistance and a potential rejection coming soon. So just as quick as it ran up, could it get rejected now and then retrace back maybe to the moving average or to previous lows? So I personally, just because of the lower volume, I wouldn't be the biggest fan of that. One thing that I wanted to show you guys very quickly is kind of where the NASDAQ futures are right now. NASDAQ is up 0.53%. So that means that TQQQ would be up 1.5%. And I think that's really important to pay attention to because based off of where we have been finding support, which is right around 20,000 for the NASDAQ index, we could see that we've had a previous resistance right around 20,200. So it's just really important to be aware that based off of previous resistance and this overall reversal that we're forming, we're coming back to retest that previous resistance range. So we'll see if we surpass that and go back to making potentially new highs, and or if we get rejected and retrace back to 20,000. So I'm excited during tomorrow's live trading session to kind of see where the market's at. Are we going to be testing for new highs and higher lows, or coming back to retrace back down to that moving average or that previous support at 20,000? So let me go ahead and break down one more stock and we'll go from there. All right. What do we have here? Pan W. Palo Alto. Okay, it's been bullish on the day chart. Quite bullish there. Higher highs, higher lows. Palo Alto is a little bit more volatile, right? We went from highs of 380 all the way back down to 264. That was in the beginning of the year. We held there right around that moving average and then continued to uptrend. It looks like we're coming down from a previous resistance, a current retracement, and kind of forming lower highs and lower lows. Let's look at the 4 hour. And yep, just like I was expecting, lower highs and lower lows, and possibly breaking below the moving average soon on that 4 hour time frame. So if we break below that and continue to descend, it tends to find a support here at that moving average. And again, that's just on the technicals. So we'd have to look into the fundamentals to see if it has anything to look forward to bring back a nice little upswing. But you could see that almost every time that it tries to recover, it doesn't go as high as it did before. and that is a descending resistance, which again is kind of like a red flag if you're a long-term investor or trying to make money as a bull. When you have that descending resistance, because it's showing lower highs, lower lows, and potentially just an overall descending pattern, which is not going to be the best position to be in as a bull. Anything else? Blow the likes to the moon. I like that. Ion, Penis, Richie Rich, let's go. What's going on, brother? All right, Intel. That's INTC. And we'll do GameStop as well. I see a few of you guys asking about GameStop. I'd be more than happy to break it down. Again, all I ask you to do is subscribe and drop a thumbs up on the channel. So, okay. I'm not a big fan of this. It looks like it has random rallies, retraces, random rallies. It doesn't hold, and then it just retraces. So I'm not a big fan of that kind of volatility, especially for beginners. I don't think exposing yourself to that kind of risk is necessary. Now, it looks like after a very aggressive sell-off, it's trying to show signs of a recovery. But remember, there's so much margin for potential recovery. There's no reason that you have to try to get in early. If it's showing lack of progress, if it's showing weakness, it's for a reason. So instead of selling yourself the idea, and this is something that I've done so many times before, where like you kind of sell yourself like, no, it has to recover. It's going to recover. It offers so much potential to recover. Like I can make so much money. It's not about that. It's very simple. Is the price action and direction in your favor? And it's not. It's just not there yet. It might be in the early stages, don't get me wrong, but it's not showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. If you look at the history of Intel, it's been selling off for a reason. I have a very simple thing to show you here. Just imagine what you're thinking that's going to happen here. I'm sure people were thinking the same thing at around $35. Oh, we're finally recovering. And then boom, from 35 all the way down to 19. So just remember, the cheap can always get cheaper. Do not sell yourself the idea that a stock has to recover when there is nothing to support it, right? Very, very simple. So keep trading simple. Focus on direction. Indicators are to be used as a reference, never as a sole reason on why to take a trade. What's my honest opinion about GameStop? Right now, the only reason that it's moving up is supposedly because there's a whale that's purchasing GameStop. You guys know all the hype when it comes down to GameStop, it's short-lived and it always corrects itself. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's anyone that can pump a stock, it's those Reddit and those meme stock traders. Don't underestimate them. I'm not here to tell you that they can't get it to $30 or to $40. It just doesn't hold there. And that's the big difference. It's you can hope for that to happen, just like they're hoping for the short squeeze to still happen. But you could see based off of how they like to talk on Twitter and how they like to post everywhere is they're like, oh my God, a big whale. They must know something that's coming. Get ready. The short squeeze has to happen. They're selling you the idea that something has to happen, but then they never talk about when it pulls back down to $19 after it was at 25 and they were convincing you to buy at 25, and then now you're down what, 10, 15%, like 20%. It's insane, right? So let's understand the facts about GameStop. It always crashes. The short squeeze has never happened. You can justify or try to find a scapegoat on why it hasn't happened. It's a fact. It always crashes for a reason. So don't get me wrong. Can they hype up a stock? If anyone can do it, it's the GameStop people. But there's one thing that is certain. It always crashes back down to its true value. And the only reason it's holding at $19 per share is because GameStop as a company sold so many of their own shares to pay off their debt. So they do have a good amount of money in cash, and they do have very low to little debt. So that is one thing to you have to give credit where it's due. But remember, the only people that have made money with GameStop, the only reason GameStop is what it is now is because it sold its shares while all of you guys were holding. And I'm not saying you guys, but all of the bag holders for GameStop. If you're like, man, how do I make money trading this thing? You do it by selling, because that's the only reason the company itself, or what's his name, Roaring Kitty, has ever made money, because they liquidate and sell their shares. So I just want to remind you, you can be sold the movement, and you're an adult, you're a trader, you can do whatever it is that you want. It's not my problem. I'm just telling you, the only people that make money trading that hyped up meme coin or meme stock are the people that sell. Very, very simple. So You know that my focus, even back in 2000 to 2021 when it all started, I said the same thing. Everyone hated those videos that I was making where I was reminding beginners to not be afraid to lock in profits. They thought that I was against the movement. No, I'm for anyone making money. I think there's a lot of different ways how to make money in this market, but there's one thing that I will always do, and I always try to look out for the beginners to manage and mitigate risk and to never be afraid to lock in profits. Your hope or your desire or their opinions are never going to pay your bills. So if you made a good amount of money and you know that it might be too good to be true in a very short period of time of how much money you made, in my opinion, I would never be afraid to lock in profits. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or feel free to message me via Instagram, which is also linked in the description of this video. I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. You don't have to join, but if you think that you would learn best by watching me trade live, I trade live every single morning, and it's the second link in the description down below. And yes, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you'll get to watch me trade live every day. I appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green